Los Angeles, I'm and most Hollywood nights. She goes to California, oh, California.
What you say about Los Angeles?
LA got the people saying,
You're listening to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. Welcome to Corner of the Galaxy, the show that talks 100% LA Galaxy soccer. We're glad you could join us. Now it's time to sit back and relax as your hosts navigate through the twisting, turning, but never boring world of the five-time MLS Cup champion, LA Galaxy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Corner of the Galaxy on cornerofthegalaxy.com. I'm your host, Josh Guesman, coming to you on a Thursday, March 14th, the LA Galaxy getting ready to take on St. Louis this Saturday night. A Saturday night under the lights for the LA Galaxy, just the second home game of the year. Galaxy looking for 3 points for the first time in 2024 at home, all right? The last time they won, it was a long time ago at home. We'll tell you how long ago that was, all right? So a lot of stuff to get to with that. We're going to have some other news as Leagues Cup schedule gets announced. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll give you all the events that are leading up to the St. Louis game, and there are a lot of them, so we want to talk about that as well. And then an update on Nick Theslof as well. So a whole bunch of stuff to get to, some breaking news in here as well. And to help us do all of that, we are joined by the one, the only Miss Sophie, the Cannon, Nicolaou. Soph, how you doing?
I am epic, and I am excited for the show, and I'm happy to be back with you. At ease, everyone. At ease.
We're glad to have you back. Everybody's pumped up. Very, very fun. So we're excited that everything is going about that way. How was your week? Are you settling? Did the wind try to blow you away today?
Okay, so how outrageous was that win today? I was in my backyard. I put my glasses on the table, and the wind blew my glasses like right off into my lemon tree.
We will rebuild, Sophie. We will rebuild.
I'm just saying, like, for Southern California, this was a big day. This was our tornado, and let me tell you, I survived.
You survived. You made it. You made it. I know. People are complaining, by the way. They're saying, where did the LA intro go? And I forgot to play it, just so you know. It wasn't, we're not changing anything.
Do you want to play it now?
No, I don't, because it's another 30 seconds, and then, we'd have to wait and the whole day. Live without it for one. I just want you to appreciate it. That's really what it's about, Sophie.
Well, I'm sure, which is why they're asking for it, because they do appreciate it. Can I also say that my week has been fabulous? I'm not sure if you watched the Champions League on Tuesday night, but my Gunners, I'm just saying, LA Galaxy, I've been saying this trajectory. They remind me, team that used to win a lot, have won championships, needed a reboot, Arsenal 2.0, mental monsters in that match, hence why I'm wearing my beanie today. And I've been saying for a while, LA Galaxy remind me of the Arsenal, LA Galaxy 2.0 this season, and not to brag, but my prediction that LA Galaxy would finish above Seattle and LAFC.
So on the mark. On the
3
mark
games, but I'm there. I'm
on
right
the mark.
there.
You got to brag while it's there, because if it changes, we're not going to ever mention it again, right? It'll be one of those things. Yeah, we won't talk about it.
I'll just pretend I never said it. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So anyway,
podcast
this is what
style.
I'm going to do in the podcast of this. I may dump the LA intro in because people seem so upset. So on the podcast part of this, it'll be there, but live show won't live show intro repeat won't be there. So no. This seems like an exciting week for the Galaxy. They get back from Nashville, the 2-2 draw. They salvaged the momentum, Sophie, and if you were watching that game, it was funny. I was talking to some of the people at the LA Galaxy and different things, and they were like, "Man, I was really thinking St. Louis is going to be a really good test for us." And then I watched, the Galaxy play against Nashville, and all of a sudden they're losing 2-0 in the second half after they clearly were the better team. And you're like, "Oh, they're dominating, they're playing better." You're like, "When are the chances going to fall for them?" And all of a sudden it's 1-0. All of a sudden it's 2-0, and they're like, "Man, maybe St. Louis won't be the test. Maybe Nashville is the test." And the fact that they were able to fight back, the fact that they were able to come back from that deficit in the second half. I mean, there wasn't a lot of time left on the clock when you look at 2-0 down with 30 minutes left, that type of thing. It was impressive, and I think that the players felt it was impressive too. They weren't like, "Oh man, we're so good because we came back." It was like, "Wow, we were able to salvage that. We have another gear." That was you were in the post game. You got to talk to some people. What did you? Everybody's heard about me. What did you think about the team?
So firstly, if there was a roller coaster for football, that would be a good example. That game was nuts, absolute nuts. And to be fair, I thought Ricky had a chance to win it at the end. There were a couple of chances there. I was ready to text you again and say, "Listen, I know what you're saying about Dayan," and he pulled it off again. The fox in the box, in the right place at the right time. And like you said, if he can do that all season, pretty amazing. I thought Nashville did a great job. Their fans are salty, very salty. I'm liking this. I'm also liking, that fans I'm not saying they're fearing LA Galaxy again, but the saltiness is back. It's like there's some respect that has been restored. And for me, I wanted to ask Greg about two things. One was bounce back ability. You don't want to get used to that this early in the season, but the team are proving that they have the tenacity to bounce back, which goes to my mental comment at the top of the show. The second thing I wanted to ask him about is, are you going to change your penalty taker again? Because you don't want that to become a habit this early in the season. And he was very fair about that and very open, and said it's not unlikely that I would change penalty takers. But overall, I think he's very impressed with the fact that he knows this type of game, this result, LA Galaxy of old is losing that like 4-2, not coming away with a point.
I know people again within the Galaxy would agree that like they would have lost that game 5-0 or 3-0. Like you're down 2-0 in the second half. That team last year is in the tank, right? I don't think that's ridiculous to say either. I know some people are like, "Oh, well, you can't say that." I think you can say that. I think the last year's team is in the tank, 2-0. They don't know how to come back. We had Catamount write an article for Corner of the Galaxy, and he really talked about, the Galaxy coming back and scoring 2 goals is really about individual talent more than anything else, right? Because you got Ricky Puig, who was able to sort of scrape by and create a goal there, right? You had some really good plays that led to Mark Delgado, individual talent that eventually led the ball over to Aude and Aude into Joveljic. And hey, the most Joveljic has been involved in any game so far. He was absolutely involved in that game, and that's one where you're like, okay, now more. Where's that next step? And I think we talked about that on Monday too. But it was about individual talent. The Galaxy haven't had some of the individual talent to just lean on and drag them through games. With Paintsel, with Puig, with I think a Peck eventually, with Delgado right now. If you made me vote right now at MVP of the LA Galaxy right now, I'm voting Mark Delgado. I think he's the most valuable player right now.
He is. He doesn't get the respect that he deserves. I think I saw you tweet something about that when the best 11 of the week came out, and I totally agreed with you.
I said MLS needs important. MLS needs to be brave and put Mark Delgado on the team of the week, because he doesn't do anything that's flashy, except if you watch him, one of the best players on the field. Just watch him.
Is it me, or is this 11 becoming like who the flashy players are, or who the sexy name is, or it just seems that way to me? And I feel that the longer it goes on, actually, the better for the LA Galaxy. Let him be hidden. Let him go unnoticed, because LA Galaxy fans know exactly what he does and what an engine he is for this team. And also on the ball, right. He's so controlled, and that's so important when you're in tight games like that. I thought he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well, there's I'm going to get these numbers wrong because I was writing quickly, and so I didn't get them right. I want you to understand that what these numbers I'm about to tell you are saying is that more people are watching the LA Galaxy, that there's some juice behind what's going on.
Told you. Respect is coming back, mate.
The Nashville numbers were significantly higher on viewership than some of the previous games. Not talking about Miami. Miami's an outlier. Don't throw Miami out, right? So, but in some of the games last year and some of the games this year, there's some juice behind the LA Galaxy. They got a significant amount of eyes on them watching that Nashville game. That's real. That's really happening, right?
I'm listening.
And it's Nashville. One is because I think Nashville is well respected within the league, right? And they have a very rabid fan base, right? They got a lot of people. They fill that stadium up a lot with a lot of people. So I like that. The other part of that is I think the LA Galaxy have some juice behind them. It just feels like there's a little bit. There is. We joke around about it so much, and I say it on this podcast so much, people are going to think I'm crazy. But when you're good, your schedule is easier, right? And teams start to fear you. I have to imagine St. Louis right now is sitting there going, crap, we got to fly all the way over to LA, and then we got to play the Galaxy. They've had a full week to rest. We're missing our number 10. This already in our mind is not like the best situation. And it doesn't mean that they can't come out and win a game, but they're thinking about it, right? Before, you would come into the LA Galaxy, especially at home, and you would say, we have every chance to win this game.
Yeah.
I don't know that St. Louis
that was
is
a tough
that.
loss. That was a tough loss for them too. They've had to play a lot of football early in the season, and that was a tough game to play, chasing the game as well at the end. So yeah, I'm sure that they've got a sense of doubt in them. No doubt about that. Can I just say one thing about the Nashville game? And I don't know if you and the Panda talked about it on Monday or the Galaxians in the chat, but how annoying was the sun on that stadium? Could you actually see? I could only see when the goals went in. I was like, did that actually go in? I'm just going to wait for the replay. So it was a tough one.
So you're in the business, and I've been around the business. We sort of know how things are produced, and especially whenever it comes to the sunshine, there's usually a person who has a slider who's in charge of adjusting that as it goes. Very difficult to do, by the way. It's not easy because you have to get it right. You have to put the slider in the right place. I imagine that there's some sort of preset that you could slide back and forth. But remember, that sunlight is changing all the time as it moves over, so that slider doesn't always provide you with the best. It's probably manual more than anything. You're sitting in there moving a slider. People are paying attention.
I was thinking about the architecture of the stadium as well, the way it's been built, structured.
I mean, the other part of that is, maybe don't play a game at 1:00 on a Sunday. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, football and soccer should be played at night, right? And that's really why I'm excited to see Saturday night. So it's a Saturday night, 7:30. Galaxy expecting over 20,000 already in terms of ticket sales. I imagine you're going to get another 3,000 or 4,000 on walk-ups, and that's usually the Galaxy do a lot on walk-ups. So I imagine 23,000 people are going to be there on a Saturday night. Place should be rocking. It should be really fun. Again, there's juice behind the Galaxy. There's numbers to back this up, right? I just don't want to say the wrong numbers, but there's numbers to back this up, okay, with all this stuff. So really interesting to me what the Galaxy are going to do. Gabriel Peck is back in training, so we do expect that we'll see him some. Remember, he got married. Now he's
married
back.
Man now, huh?
Yeah, yep. I guess no honeymoon, and I didn't expect there would be.
As it should be.
In the off season, sir. In the off season.
Yes.
Hopefully he has enough energy to go out there and play some. I don't want to say it, but I just, that's just no groin injuries. That's what we don't want any groin injuries. All right. Or as Greg would say, growing injuries. And I will never not love that. If Greg ever hears this and he gets upset about it, I want him to know I don't say it because I'm making fun of you. I'm saying it because I love it.
Because it's endearing.
It's endearing, absolutely, 100%. So, yeah. But Peck will be back. So I do expect him to play some part. Again, I think a bit role, but as we're going here in the next couple weeks is when you're really going to see him start getting integrated into things. So I don't think he starts, but they could. And seeing Fagundes come off the bench is going to be something whenever that happens. Seeing Diego Fagundes, who, by the way, congratulations. Diego Fagundes, a United States citizen. That's... I don't know. Is that stupid? You're not from here. I'll have to stand up. You're not from here.
No. But I've lived here for 23 years.
Right, but I think you add a different perspective. Do you have U.S. citizenship? I've never asked you this before.
I haven't because I've, it means giving up my British passport, and I'm not ready to do that.
I understand completely. I didn't mean to put you in a spot there. I just wanted to ask the question. I think you're in a better position to answer this then. Is it weird that I get a pride about that as an American to see somebody like Diego Fagundes want to be an American and join us here? Isn't that, I don't know. To me, it's like, That's so awesome. I'm so proud. Just as an American, I'm so proud that he's here and that he wants to be here.
I really want to do it, and I believe there was a time where I could keep my British passport. Maybe someone in chat can Google it while we're on air, but I think now you have to give it up,
right,
and go full on. So I love it. I really do. I've wanted to do it for a long time. I've lived here long enough. I'm a green card holder. And, I still get to go in the line at the airport with US citizens.
Nice.
But I feel like this is my country.
Right.
As you can see, I have my stars and stripes hanging in the background. I feel this is home. I don't feel like England is home anymore. So I totally understand the pride and you feeling that and Galaxy fans feeling that too. And I'm really happy for him because it really is monumental. I don't know if, there are people in chat that have this, but I've lived here for so long, and I feel when I go back to England, I feel like, wow, I really am American now. I mean, there's certain
right.
culture things, and just even the way I kind of utilize certain words and stuff like that. It's a great country, and everyone who lives here should be proud to be in it. I know every place has its issues, but this is an epic place to live.
It's not bad at all. I very much love going over to England, by the way. I'm a big fan of England. If I was going to go live somewhere else, it would probably be there. That would probably be where I'd want to go. But
I could see you in a village, being near not owning a pub or being a landlord, but you're managing a local team.
Right.
Come out on Sundays. You got your whistle, you got your baller. Dare I say you're a little Ted Lasso? You remind me of Jason Sudeikis a little bit.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is your jam. I think you'd be great at, I think you'd fit right in.
Sounds like fun. I'm in. That's my retirement job. I'm all for it. By the way, people were like, "Oh, Sophie's not from here," as we all know in this chat room and have for years. This is a fake accent she has. I don't know if you guys know that. Aaron has called that out many times. I don't see Aaron in the chat room.
I'm really American.
I love it whenever you do that.
That was bad.
It's so much fun. So
yellow card for me. I got the card out.
By the way, everybody's saying that super chats aren't working, so that's wonderful. I always like it whenever they're not working. I mean, we should let's just throw the show away and start over.
No song, no intro, no super chats.
What's going on?
What's going on?
I don't know.
The wind has taken it all out.
It very well. Maybe.
This looks fun.
Very well be. Just shout out again before we get too far away to Footpool America, who will be out at Soccer Fest. They reached out and said they're going to be there. They're trying to make a deal so that way they're at all the home games, but they're going to be there against St. Louis. It's actually in the Soccer Fest announcement, so you can go out there. Sophie, I said you and I pregame will be over there. We'll take each other. We're going head to head. Winner take all. So we'll be out there.
I'll take you on.
So I hope everybody.
How are you? Good footballer, by the way.
No, I mean, I was a decent enough defender. I got lost in politics.
Defender, eh?
I got lost in politics. Let's be very clear, which is at my high school, which is where I never played club soccer because I played baseball and some other sports, and I never really had time for the club side of things, right? I was asked to join club a couple times, but I was like, no, I can't. I got other things to do. So it wasn't like I can't just focus on soccer. I got to do other things. So in high school, I went, I was on the JV team basically for the Frosh Soft team and then the JV team for the
Discovered Girls.
Yeah, for the 3 years that I played soccer. And then I was told that I was going to get promoted up to varsity, but the varsity coach was like, I only take guys from club. And it was like, really? How about you just let me play? Because I know how to play. It's not that hard. Like, I know how to play defense. And I did. I played in some of the varsity games as a sophomore and a junior preseason, and it was fine. Like, it wasn't above my head or it wasn't crazy, that type of thing. So, but yeah, the politics of it ruined it. So then my senior year, I was like, well, I'll just play baseball year round then. I don't care. It's like,
why not?
If I'm not going to get on varsity and I'm not going to play, then I'll go play, which I was a 3-year starting varsity, 3-year letterman in baseball. So it was one of those.
Wow. When I was in school, there was no girls team. I had to play with the boys. And I was a playmaker,
like a 10? Were you?
Like a 10.
Okay,
yeah.
Good. Mm-hmm.
And I was actually, not to blow my own trumpet, but I was pretty talented. I had a trial back in the day with a team. And I didn't make it because I was too small. And then a guy called Messi came along and made small really cool in football. And there you have it.
But you're just a little late, right? Just a little late to that game.
I love playing. I used to play in the backyard. I used to play all the time. I'd have a football in my hand all the time.
All the time. I love it. We did get a $5 super chat, so maybe the super chats are working again. That's good. All right. From Popo Zhao. With Dayon scoring every game, are we trying to keep him for a year or inflating his real estate to get a killer 9? It's early in the season, but question mark, no, I think they spent a lot of money on Dejan Joveljic. Let's be very clear. And I was told from the very beginning this year, Sophie, that they believed in Dejan Joveljic, that they thought that he had a lot of goals in him. He is currently on pace to score 34 goals this season, just in case anybody was paying attention. I could see him score. The way he's scoring goals, Sophie, he could be the Golden Boot winner with the easiest goals that he's ever had, because I haven't seen any that have been like, oh, that was miraculous. The one against Nashville is probably his hardest one. I will say this as well. We talked about the Nashville game.
He missed a sitter, though. He missed a sitter.
Have you seen a replay of that?
Do you? Oh, do you don't? What? Have you got a different take on it now?
I don't know. You know why? Because there was no replay. They didn't show it on the broadcast. They didn't show it in the recap. I was talking to somebody at the Galaxy, and I said, did you guys, this person goes, well, yeah, I saw the replay. And they're like, apparently they only showed it in stadium. So not only is there a replay, they showed it in stadium, and apparently it was a much more difficult ball to get to than it looked like from where everybody was, right? That was what this person told me. I have not seen it, right? But I'm just pointing out the fact that there is a replay that shows Dejan Joveljic missing what we all consider a sitter to win the game, and it was never shown a replay. We've never seen a different angle of it. We've never seen anything. It's like a conspiracy, like it never happened. I'm starting to wonder, was Kate Middleton sitting behind the goal whenever this happened, so they didn't want to show it?
Oh my gosh, let's not start talking about Kate. That's a whole other show.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Continue.
No. I'm very that's a whole other conversation.
Okay.
But no, at the time it felt like a sitter. I'll be curious to know what the guys think. And I'm interested why you asked me, because I was like, I actually did not see a replay.
I was just waiting for the replay. I just like to I see things just like you. We watch things and we're like, oh man, that looked like a sitter. I can't wait to see the replay to see how much of a sitter it was.
About it.
Right? Yeah. And it's like you look at it and you're like, there was never a replay. I will say this, that it is not just me, and it's not just you, Sophie, and it's not Kevin, because we have all complained about the production of the games and why it seems that people who have never watched soccer games are doing this. I believe that there are also people within the organizations that are also saying, what is going on? What somebody pointed out to me, just show every corner kick. How many times are they focused in on somebody like who's in the middle in the scrum of the corner kick, and all of a sudden the corner gets taken quickly and you never see the ball? Right?
Yeah.
So go back and watch the St. Louis Austin highlights, and one of the goals that was scored by Austin, they literally cut to as the ball is already in the net, because they didn't have the real-time replay of it, or the real-time live show of it, and they had to show the replay after it. It's horrible. Yeah. And as
that money, and you'd think they'd be able to get people that can actually direct a good football game.
I 100% agree. Mr. Ravino does point out a good stat. In-stadium replay is not done by the broadcast, but just like at the Dignity Health Sports Park, the in-stadium stuff is done by the game day crew that is hired by the LA Galaxy, that works for the LA Galaxy. So whenever you see that. Jeff, by the way, $5 super chat. Test super chat. I like this. I think, you know what? Can everybody test their super chat just to make sure it's working? I just, $5 test super chats. I'll be at
very nice strategy.
I like, we just want to make sure it's working. Sophie's really concerned, and we just want to make sure it's working. $5 and we'll know that it's testing.
Check it, everyone.
Test super chat. I'll be at the match this Saturday. From Jeff, he says, "How do I score some of those cool COG stickers?" I'm gonna have to dig them up, but I'm sure we can have some stickers at the game on Saturday.
You can score this.
Oh, what? Sophie has something actually. Pay attention. Harold, I'll get you. Let me get you the ISO.
So Tony was cleaning out the big medicine cupboard today and found this, and I have others, and I thought every time I'm on, I'm going to give something away. So on Saturday, whoever comes to visit us first will get this terrible towel.
I love it.
From 2022.
I love it. This is the world famous. Now we're calling it the world famous. Like the world famous K-Rock, the world famous COG halftime meetup, right? The world famous COG halftime meetup. So we'll love to see everybody there, and I will be there. I'll try to bring some stickers with me. And please, top of section 108, bottom of the press box stairs, you'll see a group of people there, our regulars. Sophie will be there. I'll be there as soon as I get my cookie. I have to get my cookie, and then I'll walk down and do that.
You got to get them before Scott French gets them all.
I try. I usually do. I sneak in there, right? Pupusas before the game as well. After and pupusas. Yeah, so it's going to be, we're going to be all fired up. I love it. Bob goes, test super chat. Did it work? See, they're already playing games with me, Sophie. They're playing games with my heart. One of the other things I wanted to highlight, this is something they didn't ask me to highlight this. I just saw it and I really liked it. And so I'm going to share it with you. And if you guys like it, then go buy it. This is from @Eli_Podoroso, Poderoso, a little play on the Loteria cards that are down in Mexico. Has a shirt basically with the 5 LA Galaxy MLS Cups with a quasar in the middle. It says 5 in the upper left-hand corner, which I really thought was a nice sort of, because they're all numbered Loteria cards, that type of thing. And it says El Mas Grande on the bottom, which, can somebody translate that directly to me? That's like the best or the biggest, the best and the biggest, something like that. Can somebody maybe I can do. Can check it out. But anyway, just check that out. And if you see it, go find this person on Twitter and support this. I just think it's so nice. It's just nice.
Very cool. It's nice. And it's nice of you to give him a shout out as well.
These like good design tickles me in places that like normal things don't. I know that sounds like it's not safe for work, but it is. It does something with my brain, and I just liked it and I saw it. And so I was excited.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's all fun. Design is definitely part of everything I did. I did want to talk about this now too. This is important. Nick Theslof was, according to the Nashville Scoop, which after looking through stuff, that's an interesting website. Nick Theslof jailed after a drunken night in Nashville. I do have an update for you. And not only do I have an update, Sophie, but we have what I'd like to call breaking news. All right, breaking news here on Corner of the Galaxy, something you're only going to find here. And by the way, Nick, I apologize for this particular photo. We tried to find a better one, and we did not have one. So we will try to find one for next time and everything that's going on. And I say that because I have a couple things to tell you about Nick Theslof and what is going on with the LA Galaxy. Now, officially from the LA Galaxy, they have concluded their internal investigation, their internal review of the incident. I'm also told that AEG, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, has concluded their internal review, and AEG Legal has concluded their internal review. And what I'm here to tell you is that Nick Theslof will be on the bench this weekend. All right. Now, as I tell you that, you're sitting there going, okay, this is interesting, but what are the details behind that? And I would love to tell you that the LA Galaxy would share all the details with us. That way we would know. But as you know, with legal stuff, that doesn't often happen. So I did reach out to some sources, and I can tell you some very, very interesting things. And this is one of those where maybe perhaps you should all buckle up a little bit, because this one gets a little wild. So our understanding is this, and we laid out the timeline on Monday's show, and so we'll go over that timeline again. Basically, the LA Galaxy landed sometime in the afternoon or early evening. Nick went out on Broadway in Nashville, which I'm told is akin to like Las Vegas at this point. Sophie, have you ever been to Broadway on Nashville?
Honestly, it's somewhere I'd avoid.
Okay,
that's just me.
I understand that I'm not a big Vegas person anyway, but like if you said this happened in Vegas, and I think we made this point on Monday, if you said this happened in Vegas, then saying it happened on Broadway in Nashville is also similar in sort of that type of thing. And we will talk about the breaking news music here after this as well, but I want to get to this. Nick went out. Apparently he either had a drink, several drinks, however it happened. He was then picked up by police when he was in his car, and he was taken to jail. He was released. No charges were brought. And apparently that's very standard in Nashville, that you get picked up on Broadway for public intoxication. There's no charge for the alleged incident where maybe he spit on somebody. In fact, there was nothing brought on that charge at all. So there are no charges. He never paid $100 bond, which we were told he did, but he didn't need to because there were no charges. So basically in Nashville, you get arrested, Sophie, for drunken intoxication in public, right? And then they say you spent 8 hours in the drunk tank, basically, and you're released. So that's what happened. He released. He was at training on Saturday. He was at the game on Sunday, never missed a team activity, never did anything. And then on Monday, alerted to the LA Galaxy to stuff whenever I think the Scoop Nashville things sort of came out. But with no charges and nothing that really happened, you can kind of understand perhaps why this is. There's so much more to this story that I'm about to tell you. It's kind of crazy. here's the other part of this. There is some consideration, or at least nothing that can be confirmed, but Theslof may have actually been roofied. And the reason that we think, the reason that the people I talk to think that may have happened is that he was also the victim of a crime where they emptied about $30,000 out of his bank account. $30,000.
What?
Yeah. First of all, Nick, good job with having $30,000 in your bank account just sitting somewhere. But they emptied $30,000 out of his bank account. And with that, they also filed what seems like a fraudulent workers' comp claim, which would also provide somebody money. They don't know. And again,
some water.
I know this is, I know this sounds crazy.
Wow.
So those are the circumstances that I understand from sources that sort of go into what happened to Nick. So you could, if all that is true, and I have no way to independently verify any of that, that's very difficult to do, especially for me. I'm just a podcaster. But whenever we look at this stuff, there is certainly, it seems like a series of events that whether he put himself in a poor situation you shouldn't do, but certainly there's nothing illegal about going out and drinking on Broadway, right? I mean, yeah, I know but that he was taken advantage of and was the victim of a crime during all this too. And apparently, I would imagine that AEG Legal checked it out and that the LA Galaxy checked it out and all of that stuff. There's ways you can verify those things, right? And that's actually what happened.
You need to play that breaking news thing again because that's massively breaking news.
Yes. Yeah, $30,000 taken, and it looks like a workers' comp claim filed fraudulently in his name, and so basically somebody will be trying to collect that money, which is a very, very prominent scam. We've actually had, at my business, we've had workers' comp claims filed fraudulently for somebody that like doesn't work for us, but against our company, and then like people, states pay that, especially in California and stuff. They pay that very easily, and it's very hard to track people down. So apparently that problem in Nashville as well. So that is the story as it stands, which is much, much different than what we were thinking on Monday night.
What were you in the band talking about on Monday night? I mean, okay, firstly, this is why I avoid places like that, right?
Yes.
I was in Vegas for the NFL and the Super Bowl week and stuff. And I have to say, it is, if you're not careful, it's not a fun place to be. Number two, this man's name gets dragged through the mud, okay? And whenever people talk about him now, you know, these things, it's like the headline and then the subheading, right?
Right.
It's completely, and this is a perfect example of being open to the fact that someone may actually not be guilty of something until you know all the facts. This is a perfect example of something like that. Also, losing money that he's worked hard for, hard-earned money. I'm so over these people who are monstrous thieves, right? Who do horrible things, who ruin people's lives. And honestly, Josh, I'm so happy that he's not been drinking in a car, doing, making poor decisions. Now, right. Is it a great decision to be drinking the night before a game? Probably not. It was
the night before a game. So he just had training in the morning, which he didn't miss, by the way. I would like to point out, didn't miss any team activities because he woke up in the drunk tank on Saturday morning.
I'm floored. I mean, this is just an example of how things can happen to anybody, right?
Yeah,
He's a smart guy. He's done well.
It's
and here you are in a situation now where, he's out of pocket 30 grand. He's got a mugshot and his name's been dragged through the mud, and it's somebody else who went out of their way to do this. It just really makes me so angry that these things happen in our world.
I did not expect that when I got the official word from the Galaxy, and then I was like, well, let me find out if I can find out what more, like if there's anything to this. Like most of the time, you're never going to hear that stuff, right? I mean, that's not going to happen. So I imagine, again, I think we all have to take it, even though I think it's the tiniest grain of salt we should take it with a grain of salt. But at the same time, these are all verifiable facts, and the corporation, AEG Legal is more than capable of discerning whether or not he lost $30,000. Like you could just show the bank, like here's my game.
Hello.
Yeah, right.
Can I just say one more thing on this? And this is something that I think is important in the media, especially. The same energy should be put into the follow-up story and the fact that, he got fleeced
Right.
as it was when people were so ready to post on social media and post stories about the fact that LA Galaxy assistant coach, got drunk
Right.
the night before, and they didn't the night before the game or whatever.
Yeah.
I like to see people put the same energy into clearing someone's name as they did when they tried to, I don't want to use the word smear, but it happens a lot in our world, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it also seems that there could be a whole racket with other things too. Our podcast on occasion, their website on occasion will get like takedown orders and stuff like that. Maybe we used a photo we shouldn't have used, that type of thing. But sometimes people are like, "Well, you owe us $15,000 for that photo," and you're like, "No, I don't." Like, and sorry, it's no, nice try. And like, I got 200 views. It's definitely not $15,000.
No, the panda gave me permission to use that photo.
Yeah, right. Like the whole deal. And a lot of times we use LA Galaxy stuff with their permission. All the stuff that we use from the LA Galaxy would get permission to do so. All that is fine.
What an outrageous situation.
It's crazy, right? But like, there's also, it feels like, I don't know if he was like, they thought they were going to blackmail him. I don't know if maybe he was drunk and they used Face
probably.
ID and they were able to just go in there and, do some stuff. And I mean, I'm sure it continues for him. So anyway, that's the deal. So when you see Nick Theslof on the bench this weekend, that is the story. Tell your friends if they only heard the first part, which is he was arrested because he got drunk. On the whole deal, it's again, he didn't hurt anybody. That was the big thing. I think the two things that were red flags for me was possibly the spitting on an employee, which there were no charges for. That was one of the things that said.
Did he do that?
We don't know. It was alleged. It was
okay.
We don't know, and there were no charges. And you would imagine if somebody spit on you, that you would probably be like.
To me, that's more an offense than being drunk.
It is, right?
That's about the worst thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And there could have been other charges in this, and the police said no, like we're not charging you with anything, and they let it go, right? Like that type of thing. I imagine it was a typical drunk Friday night on Broadway for the police and everything else that they go through, sort of that. So he was doing the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah. It was all day. It was funny because
you should end with the breaking news thing again today. Now, because once you end it, you have to kind of play again.
We have to wrap it up again. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Go. And that is breaking news on Corner of the Galaxy. By the way, big shout out to Ray. He heard that we didn't have any breaking news stuff, Soph, and he was like, "Hey, I got you covered." Right? Ray did our intro and all the stuff. He's a wonderful composer, and literally, I feel like now it's a game that we're gonna play where I'm like, man, it would be really nice if I had this song, and then I'll hum a couple bars of it, and then maybe it'll show up in my inbox. So
that's smashing. You did a great job. Thanks
to Ray on that one. So. That's sort of one of the big things that we're paying attention to was that situation, and for right now, it seems like that situation has been wrapped up, right? We can sort of put that one to bed. And listen, there's going to be lots of people who are, I'm sure, lots of fans from opposing teams who are going to play with this as well. Now you know the story. Like I said, you could tell your friends and go about. So,
well done, Josh. That's breaking news.
It was a lot.
That's major.
Yeah.
Major.
By the way, Philip gave us a $2 super chat, and he says the $30,000 that's missing is okay because it was just $30,000 in TAM. It's just fake money anyway. So targeted allocation money. Thank you.
Are we allowed to joke about it?
We are. I think we're
okay.
there. I don't know if
cool.
Nick.
Okay.
I don't know if Nick is there yet, but we are there. We are there.
Okay.
So all that fun stuff. So that's it. One of the things that was announced today as well was Leagues Cup, right? And so we pay attention to Leagues Cup. We have to because with MLS sort of eschewing the U.S. Open Cup, Leagues Cup is now the biggest tournament that that the LA Galaxy will play in. And by the way, they're not just doing that to the Open Cup. If you've been paying attention, they're doing it to the CONCACAF Champions Cup too. And we've seen this. This is go on the website and click on the game, and then like usually underneath it says where you can find it and how you can find it, and like they used to do this all the time. It was like, oh, it's going to be on this channel. If you do that now, you can't find it. It won't tell you what channel it's on until sometimes you have to click on like the article that's down here, how to stream this. And it's like, okay, that's weird. To me, that is ridiculous. The preeminent tournament in the United States for club football is the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's the one you want to be in. It's the one that gets you to the Club World Cup, right? So MLS is just like, no, miss me with that. We just want our little Leagues Cup tournament, and that's the biggest thing. And
it was on 618. Channel 618.
Yeah, I know. It was way off in the distance. You had to you could stream it. It was some of that, but yeah.
Galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. So yeah.
Why do they make it so hard? Is there a dumb strategy to that? Do you think? Is there, because I have that trust no one thing going on right now.
I don't know. It's very much.
Or is it just dumb?
It's Apple League soccer right now, and it's like if it's not Apple, then we ain't doing it. And so that's sort of how it feels. It feels like it's very one-sided in that direction. I think the Apple deal overall is great for the league in terms of what he's going to do, but very much the focus is on making sure that the properties Apple have get all of the coverage, and anything else that Apple doesn't have, they don't care. Which is strange for CONCACAF Champions Cup for me. So anyway, Leagues Cup coming up. The schedule announced for the LA Galaxy. They will go on the road to take on the San Jose Earthquakes on July 31st. That'll be up at PayPal Park at 7:30 p.m. That game will be on the road. That's their first game in the Leagues Cup. Their second game will be at home at Dignity Health Sports Park. It's LA versus Chivas Guadalajara. That's Chicharito coming back and all that fun stuff that's there. The tickets for those are included in season ticket member packages. So those are included in the packages. There's going to be a pre-sale for those tickets coming up. Let's see if I can get it to you. Competing in the West. They have their, season ticket members have it included in their membership and will be able to add on single season tickets via pre-sale starting on Wednesday, March 20th at 12 p.m. And then single game tickets to this LA Galaxy Leagues Cup match will go on sale to the general public on Friday, March 22nd, beginning at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So
can I ask you a question that might be silly? If you have a season ticket, how many do you get? All the Leagues Cup matches as part of your season ticket?
I think you just get the group stage. I don't know what happens if they advance past the group stage, because it didn't happen last year. So it was one of those that you're trying to pay attention to and watch, and that didn't happen. So as it stands right now, those are the two games. Remember, top two teams in each group. Each group is three teams, and the LA Galaxy are in West 2 with Chivas and the San Jose Earthquakes and the LA Galaxy in that. So they're in that W2 section. So the winner of W2 will go to play on the second place West 6 bracket, and West 6 is Seattle, is Minnesota, is, I can't even see, is that... It's too small for me to see right now. It was the Mexican teams. I don't know all of their. It's Necaxa. Is that it? Who it is? Is that? I probably said that wrong. It's this. It's the red and white one. Somebody will tell me that I.
Oh, my little box is hiding that.
Yeah,
hold on 1 second.
You won't see that at all.
I can't move it.
No, you won't see it.
Oopsies.
But anyway, so that group in there, and then the other side of that is West. The West 2. Let's find West 2 second place. West 2 winner. West 2 second against West 6. So the same winner of that group as well. All right. So that's where the LA Galaxy could possibly be going if they go all along and actually play in that game. So, yes, that is correct. All right. So that's what it is.
Someone in chat says Necaxa. Necaxa.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I knew everybody would give me crap by not saying it correctly. I wasn't planning on doing it, so that's why it was one of those. I was like, oh, let me say all the teams. And I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know the Mexican teams, and I can't read it from where I am. You guys might be able to read it from where you are. So anyway, that's where we have the LA Galaxy in Leagues Cup and everything else that's going on there. So check it out. That is coming up again in August. And that entire tournament will take place starting on July, let's see if I can get the exact same ones. 47 clubs, all July 26th to August 25th, right? So that's that whole month whenever we look at it.
After Copa America and after the Euros.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's very late in the year. Again, we were sort of talking about where all of the where all the games are played, Soph. And when you look at this, after this tournament, there's not that many games left. I think there's only 7 games left in the season after Leagues Cup is over, right? So it's an extremely small amount of games that are going to get played after Leagues Cup. So everything right now, and I think Greg Vanny is right to point it out, and I think everybody sort of realized what the schedule was going to be. This schedule now is going to be very front-loaded. So you were basically going to be, whenever we break for Leagues Cup, you're going to have about 10 games left in the season. That's going to be it.
Wow.
All right.
I mean, and at that point, critical. Fingers crossed, no one gets injured.
What, you got a clock going on over there? What's is it? You got Big Ben in your backyard?
Okay, so I do miss home. I'm still from London town,
right.
And let's just say I have a little Big Ben in my living room just to remind me of home sometime. It's actually Tony's parents' old grandfather clock from like 1972 or something.
That's awesome.
But I've called it Big Ben.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I like it. I like Big Ben. And I actually love those clocks. I have a grandmother clock, which hangs on a wall, so it doesn't stand like a grandfather clock. It hangs on the wall. I love it. But through 2 marriages, neither of my wives like that clock. So I would just like to shout out that. That clock is, my mom recently was like, hey, I was going through stuff and your clock is still here. Did you want this? I'm like, yeah, I do. I go, if you could figure out a way to get into my house and for any of my current wife to actually like it, that would be great. So
she doesn't chime anymore? No.
Bless
her.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we'll sit on that one for a little bit.
I actually just got a text message from Larry Knott on Twitter asking me if the telephone behind me really works.
Yes.
So he's paying attention to the show, just so everyone knows.
As he normally does. So that was something. One of the other things that was sort of came out was Tom Bogert reporting that it looks like MLS is ready to make a change that I called for, Sophie.
You did.
I called for this in the offseason and said, if you were going to give me anything to do with changing roster stuff, I would do this first. And that was to uncouple, or I think I have to say decouple. Somebody told me I had to say it correctly. I don't remember which one it is. Whatever it is. Decouple the U22s from the designated player spots. Mm-hmm. Right? So for me, that was the big move you could make. And that seems like that's what they're going to do, which means that you don't have to have a young designated player or a tameable designated player in a DP slot in order to have 3 U22s. You just get 3 U22s. They're just yours, right? And so one is they should have done it in the offseason because that would have been an easy thing for people to do, and maybe you would have built your rosters differently, right? Mm-hmm. Because the LA Galaxy went out and spent a lot of money on Gabriel Peck. But maybe if you didn't have to have him as a young designated player, maybe you go out and get another guy like another Joseph Paintsil or something like that. Now, I will tell you that I asked that question because I saw it come out. And I was like, so would anything have changed? Like just throwing it around the LA Galaxy front office, would you guys have done anything differently? And the answer was emphatically no, absolutely not. Because as a young designated player, Gabriel Peck's salary cap hit is $500,000 less than what it would be if he was a full designated player. So you have $500,000 extra because Gabriel Peck is a young designated player that you're able to spend on the salary cap.
Very interesting. Is this new rule to help Inter Miami? Just asking for a friend. Hashtag asking for a friend.
I don't think so. I think this was a fairly general, like, you should do this. This makes sense. You should go out and make this. The other thing I would suggest that they do, and if they listened to me on the first one, they're just like 6 months late. That they should also do is decrease the amount of cap space that designated players hit. They shouldn't. I think if you have 3 designated players, they account for 25 or 30% of the cap, or 40% or 50% of the cap. Yeah, I think it goes to 50% of the total salary cap with just the salary cap hits. If you have 3 full designated players, they take up too much. I think they're 12.5% each of the cap, which is huge, right? And so if you how about you just say designated players don't count it against the cap? Why don't you just say that and then just let it go? And then you would have all that money that comes back to come back to the team that you could then put into the roster, right? So those are things that sort of happen. I believe it's 12.5% is what it is, that each designated player counts against the cap. So I would get rid of that.
We need the breaking news back. Josh Guesman, new commissioner of Major League Soccer.
Oh man, they don't want it. They don't want it.
Well, that's good news then, and you've been flagging that for a while now.
Yeah, I was a little livid that they did it 6 months later. I was like, you guys, come on, get with it. Everybody, I knew a lot of executives that were like, this should happen, and then it didn't happen. And I was like, what is going on? That's why I was talking about it so much. I genuinely thought it was going to happen at the beginning of the year. So that is not. But again, with Peck is really important to the LA Galaxy. In fact, I was told how important he is to the LA Galaxy, and it was like one of those things. This is an important guy. This is why we.
That was a great signing. They convinced. He's a hot commodity. Let's be honest, right? Yeah. And they, well done to them convincing him to come. Let me ask you this then: what does this mean for LA Galaxy?
Nothing. That rule change will mean nothing for the LA Galaxy. They already have their 3 designated players. They already have their 3 U22s. And I
There's no reverse mortgage stuff going on here.
No. I also don't think it hurts them. Again, with the young designated player, because they get $500,000 basically back into the salary cap, that's a whole player. You get a whole nother really good player in Major League Soccer for $500,000. So that's a big bonus for the Galaxy to go about it that way if they can make Peck work, right? If you can have a young designated player who affects things. So anyway, that was just one of those weird things that was going on, and I saw Tom Bogert.
Things are shifting, Josh. Things are shifting.
It feels that way a little bit. So a lot of let's see, one other thing. LA Riot Squad has a shirt coming out. They also had this announcement. I thought it was fun, but we would talk about it. By the way, I love the shirt design. It's so cool. Join us. This is from LA Riot Squad. Join us for our 3rd annual Baddies event this Saturday, celebrating International Women's Month. We are taking it back to our LA Galaxy space roots with an intergalactic Baddies themed shirt that we'll be selling exclusively at our tailgate. And I believe that all the stuff is all women led in the supporters group. This particular.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. By the way, the shirt is really cool. I don't know. I just like
that looks like an album cover from the 70s.
Love it so much.
I love that.
It is kind of fun. A lot of games coming up this weekend for Major League Soccer. All teams in action except for one, of course. All matches this week are free. And look at there's your dude Maya Yoshida on the front of that. By the way, see there's
my boy,
the little tiny Messi over there in the corner, and big giant Maya Yoshida in there. They know who the real star is.
Yeah, they do.
So he's
look at that kit.
But all matches are free. March 16th to 17th for MLS Season Pass. So there's no complaining. You can watch it this week. Tell Larry that he can watch all the games this weekend. All right.
I'll text him back. Why are they doing that?
What?
To attract? Is it a bait?
Yeah.
Let's lure them in. Yeah, and then
course.
Sign up. Yeah.
It's like whenever you give away something for free and you're like, just give me your email address. And it's like, yeah, now I got your email address. Here we go.
I'm paying for mine this year.
Are you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't get a freebie this year, which is bizarre. I always get freebies.
I was gifted one, so I was
rightly
covered.
so.
I think I got in an argument at one time. The North American Soccer Reporters, I'm a member of them, and I abide by all of their general standards. So there's a lot of people who are independent like me who are members of the North American Soccer Reporters. I'm proud to be one, and all that fun stuff. But I got into an argument one time. I'm like, the league really should provide all this stuff to us for free. And they're like, but then it seems like it's a benefit. I go, it's not a benefit. It's it's the minimum that you can get to cover the league is to be able to see every single game that you need to be able to see. If you want me to cover it, then how about you give me? Yes, I can pay for it. Absolutely. I could 100% pay for it. It's not a big deal. And I would pay for it if they didn't give it. But if you're trying to get coverage, and I've been talking a lot about the recession of local coverage at the LA Galaxy. If you're in the press box, you can see that. But as you see that, it's like you're trying to get people to cover it, then provide them the ability to do that. Way back in the day, whenever it was MLS Live on ESPN, I think before it was ESPN, it was just MLS Live. I had unblocked, unfettered access to every single game to cover the league. Mm-hmm. And that meant I got to watch the LA Galaxy, and it didn't matter. Remember there were blackouts on Spectrum and stuff like that? It was never blocked out for me. I could just watch it. And so I got to preview what Apple TV would be like before that ever happened. And that's why I was so like, get it in one place, no blackouts. I go to the same place every time and I can watch it. So it absolutely is one of those things. So for me, they should provide reporters with free access.
I'm surprised actually because MLS have been pretty good to me, and not this season, but I'm happy to pay the $12.99 just like every other punter, and be in control of my own paying destiny. How
Absolutely.
about that?
100%. All the games coming up this weekend. The LA Galaxy have the last game on Saturday, so they are the only game in that 7:30 time slot on the West Coast on Saturday. So LA Galaxy and St. Louis. 2 games on Sunday: New England, Cincinnati, and Atlanta and Orlando. I want to see what Orlando has been disappointing me, and I'm ready for them to wake up and start playing like an Oscar Pareja coach team should be. I love me some Oscar Pareja. You know this, Soph. He's one of my favorite coaches.
Your man crush.
He is. I love him, and he's right now. They're screwing things up. They're messing with everything, and I don't like it because it feels like the whole universe is off balance. Maybe the LA Galaxy being in 3rd place in the Western Conference is a direct result of Orlando being crappy somehow. But I would really like to see it. Really like to see Orlando.
Can I just ask you a 20-second question? Do you remember when Beckham was here? Do you remember maybe it's because it's Apple TV now. I don't know if it's different, but do you remember everything being about him? Was everything about Zlatan?
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of stuff was about Zlatan, but Zlatan
It was
had a
about
foil
Zlatan.
with, Carlos Vela was here too, right? And so
Yeah.
there was that sort of foil that was played. The two LA teams have sort of these two big names, and at the time that matchup was really
brilliant.
intriguing. I wouldn't say it's definitely not as lopsided as what I see now. Messi League Soccer is too much Messi. It's just a lot. And then you have Luis Suarez, who's leading goals and assists in the league right now, and that's being plastered all over the place too. And it's like, yeah, it's
until he bites someone.
It's early.
I think what they're doing is anyone who doesn't support, and by the way, the team over at Inter Miami, the PR team, Rafael, I mean, they're great. They're lovely, lovely people. But what they're doing, not the PR team, what the league, I think, is doing is, of course, when you have a marketable guy like Messi, it's all about him, right? And now he's got his pals here too. What they're doing, Josh, is they're making every other fan of every other team hate them. And I say hate with respect.
With respect, yeah.
It's perfect.
There is, perhaps it's not entirely by coincidence that the LA Galaxy is starting to get. Remember, the LA Galaxy were sort of the Galactic Empire. They were the bad guys on the block. Everybody hated them, and LA Galaxy fans absolutely put forth that vision. It was like, you want to see the stormtroopers? You want to see we're there. We love it. Darth Vader? Yeah, that's our dude. It's like he's sort of there. They were definitely playing, yeah, exactly, right? They were playing the bad guy. Miami gets to play that right now. But you're also seeing, a little bit, and again, we're laughing because, it's funny, apparently. But we're looking at it and we're saying, we see through 3 games maybe the slightest glimpse of a return to the Galactic Empire. Maybe you can say that. Maybe you can't say that yet. Maybe it's too early.
It's the Empire Strikes Back. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't want to say it, but I do. I really wish I had that music queued up and we could have just gone right into it. But anyway, that's sort of what it seems. Maybe it's not a total coincidence that that's happening at the same time. Eastern Conference, speaking of the evil doers over there, on 7 points. 1.75 points per game, by the way, would put them in 6th place right now if it was by points per game for Miami. So Miami not playing the best soccer. Montreal, who just beat Miami, 2.33 points. Columbus, 2.33. New York, 2.3. Toronto, 2.3. So you have your sort of ones. The 0 Point Club down there over in the Eastern Conference, New York City and New England, 0 points. Caleb Porter over there in New England at 0 points. And then New York City, not looking anything like New York City of the past. They're struggling to get stuff. I think they're struggling to score goals, if I remember correctly. In the Western Conference, it is the LA Galaxy just 2 points behind Portland and Minnesota. The Galaxy have Minnesota coming up, I think, next month. I have the schedule. I didn't think it was this month. I think it was next month. Yeah, it's next month. In April. Oh, no, I lied. It wasn't then either. I thought I saw that game. I'm full of it. But Minnesota in there as well. So, again, I think you're going to start seeing some of these things settle down a little bit in terms of where the good teams really are, whether or not Portland is a real good team yet or not. They've certainly been looking like it. So something to watch, Portland, Minnesota. St. Louis comes in, tied on points with the LA Galaxy. The stats are almost similar in a lot of ways with St. Louis and LA. So I expect a really good test coming up this weekend. Vancouver playing well, not too far behind. Real Salt Lake, Colorado, LAFC, Dallas, Kansas City with 3 points. The only team without any points right now in the Western Conference is the San Jose Earthquakes. So keep that in mind as the Galaxy hold that up as a win on the road, but it's still the San Jose Earthquakes, and I don't know if they're going to be good yet or not. Seattle with only 1 point is pretty interesting too. They've been real quiet up there in the Pacific Northwest, and that's probably not a good thing. Them sort of just being forgotten about for a while, so means they just sort of hang around, and eventually you find them climbing the standings at the end there.
Yes.
So
you can never trust that lot up there.
That's right. Schedule shows the LA Galaxy St. Louis coming up on Saturday. Then next week they travel to Sporting Kansas City. So that's going to happen. Then the LA Galaxy hosts Seattle. Maybe a good time, maybe not a good time. We'll see what it makes in about 3 weeks or so. And how that sort of plays out to sort of close out this March for the LA Galaxy. And then off into April, where they will head to BMO Stadium to take on LAFC and El Tráfico on April 6th. The 13th is the LA Galaxy going up to Vancouver, so 2 away games. It'll be difficult for the Galaxy there, and then hosting San Jose again on 4/21, and then 4/27, April 27th, it is off to Austin, who have struggled. Do you know, and I said this on Monday, and somebody told me this stat, and I couldn't believe it, Austin has only won 1 game since selling Diego Fagundes to the LA Galaxy. 1 game.
Wow.
That was in summer. That's summer.
Crazy.
It is way crazy, and I don't trust any of it. It just seems weird. So anyway, that's what's going on. Do you want to talk about the game and get that going? Are you good?
I would like to.
Okay.
Big Ben was chiming 9 times because it's 9, so I put myself on mute for a minute, not to completely annoy him.
Right. You do that, and I will go on to this next match here. The LA Galaxy taking on St. Louis. It's going to be a very interesting match. 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. We believe the kickoff is at 7:40 p.m. because that's what the lead-in has been. The sort of 10-minute lead-in that gets to kickoff. So figure 7:40 p.m. as your kickoff time. Again, just sort of showing everything. St. Louis coming off of a 2-2 draw with Austin. If you watch those highlights, I feel sorry for you, and MLS should apologize to everybody for putting those highlights together. Only played twice so far. Neither team has ever beat each other. That's it. Twice. 2 draws. 2-2 the last in 2023, towards September of 2023, and then in June of 2023 it was 1-1 at St. Louis. So that's sort of somebody's got to win a game here. So eventually, right? and that sort of seems like it might be. If you watch the game, Austin and St. Louis scored in the 93rd minute. In order to tie that game. There was also a possible goal by St. Louis that may have gone over the line, maybe didn't go over the line. We'll see if it is awesome. Adam, $5 super chat, unbeaten against St. Louis in 2023 in their expansion season. Yep, absolutely true. Unbeaten. Haven't beat them yet. Nashville, by the way, has never beat the LA Galaxy, if you've been paying attention to that game as well. Aaron, by the way, did come in late to give us a $2 super chat and says, came late for a possibly fake British accent trying to sneak up on you, Soph.
Did he miss Big Ben?
He did.
I mean, I added that flavor in for him specifically just today, so hopefully he didn't miss Big Ben.
No, I don't think he did. And then Gary, $5 super chat. Rad show. Thank you both. We appreciate you, Gary. Thank you for that. The big news, and we already talked about it, was reported by Justin Horniker, and that's Edward Lovin has a hamstring issue that should keep him out of this weekend's match in Carson. That's a big blow to Carnell's side, but he preaches all for City's next man up mentality. Alex Ruiz went through and looked at Lovin and said leads the team with 11 chances created. This is a big advantage for the LA Galaxy defense. All right, so 11 chances is almost as many chances as St. Louis has created. But when we look at the stats and compare them, LA Galaxy stats, St. Louis stats, the number of shots per game, 16.3 for the Galaxy, 15.7 for St. Louis, right? Shots on goal, 7.7 for the Galaxy, 5.3, not too many off there. Total passes, Galaxy really racking them up, 521 to 346. So we'll see if St. Louis cedes possession, because a lot of times they're very much a counterattacking team, but they have some really good, talented players that could come out and cause some problems for the Galaxy. You can sort of see that in a lot of things that they do. I will say this, though. If you're looking at expected goals, the LA Galaxy currently sitting at 7 expected goals so far, and St. Louis only able to muster 3.7. So the Galaxy have almost doubled what the number of goals, the number of
my
expected
least
goals.
favorite stat in modern day football, XG.
I know. I understand. I get it.
You've got to give it to the kids. I get it.
I get it. I use it as a tool to say, are you creating chances more than anything else, right? Which is, and where are you taking, and the shots you're taking and what quality. We talked about the LA Galaxy in years past, taking low percentage shots, but taking 30 of them, and you get an XG of like 1.2 because you took 30 low percentage shots. You can see it. It makes sense. It tells you that they're not shooting from high quality positions, or they're not able to get into high quality positions. That has not been the case so far.
Do you know why I think I don't like it? It's
abstract.
Maths. It's maths.
Yeah.
And I know today's Pi Day.
Right. 3.14159. 3.14159.
I mean, see, you and Tony should just go out for coffee and talk about it. Really, maths is. I don't like numbers unless it's high ones in my bank account.
I understand. Math for me, it was always difficult until I did physics in high school, like my senior year of high school, or I did physics in college. Physics makes total sense to me. Algebra, trigonometry, everything else, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on at the stadium. Pre-game party at Galaxy Park. Fans are encouraged to stop by the pregame party at Galaxy Park, where they can take part in a wide range of activities before gates open at 3:30 p.m. for Saturday's match. Toki Monster, right? And I wanted to say, I knew there was no way I could say that cool, but Toki Monster
You
is
did a
going to be
good
there.
job.
Yeah.
You smashed it.
I'm trying. In celebration of Women's History Month, fans are encouraged to arrive early for Saturday's match, as Grammy-nominated producer Toki Monster will be featured DJ for Saturday's set, with a renewed focus on transforming the in-stadium fan experience. LA Galaxy home matches during the 2024 regular season will have a pregame and halftime DJ set to excite and entertain fans of the club. So, Toki Monster is a native of Torrance, California, ranks as one of the top 100 DJs from DJ Mags, and has performed at nearly every major festival worldwide. The other part about that is there's another DJ. If you're headed to Extra Time, which is very important, Extra Time DJ Steve Dubb will be performing for fans at Extra Time, the LA Galaxy's post-match party in the American Express Stadium Club, following the match against St. Louis. Now, I am going to try to make an appearance at Extra Time. I don't know if it'll stay open long enough for us to do that, because we have to go down for press conference and then come back up and do all that fun stuff, and that takes time. But if we're still there, I'm supposed to be getting a text message, and if you're still there and I'm done, then we will head up there. I will try to go. I think so. I'll drag you up there too.
Yeah, totally.
All right.
I'll do it. I'll do that.
So we'll meet you.
Can I just say I'm really impressed with LA Galaxy's marketing this year.
Yeah.
And I think they're doing a really great job of trying to bring fans back, but also they've got great ideas. They're getting really good talent. And I encourage everyone, if you looking for something to do with your friends and your family, your mates, it's a good time. And I'm really impressed with what they're doing this season. Really am. Kudos to everybody over there.
Get Baxter's all like, oh, it's too loud. I don't need to go to hear us. I'm like, yeah, I can't.
Listen,
I can't with
poor
you.
Grandpa.
I know.
I mean,
I mean, we're also the same ones. So we was like, Las Vegas and Broadway and Nashville sound too much for us. So like, we're kind of there, but we're not on the same level as him. He's like, get off my lawn.
Yeah.
So I imagine
he's Clint Eastwood from Gran Torino.
he could be. I'm trying to think. Soccer Fest, the first 150 fans to arrive at Soccer Fest will receive a Women's History Month scarf. Fans can also play a round of foot pole or a pana and take a virtual selfie with their favorite Galaxy stars. Cosmos Cadets, the LA Galaxy Foundation, and LA Galaxy Programming will have their usual booths at Soccer Fest, with Coca-Cola and the Alex Morgan Foundation also in attendance. The Northwest Pad, located outside the Northwest Stadium Gate, will have Volkswagen, the LA Times, and the LA Galaxy merch truck on site. So there you go. It's going to be a rousing game here. Again, for me, I look at St. Louis and all the things that they provide, and they absolutely have the ability to be a very good defensive team. And whenever you have Berkey in the back, he's a very good goalkeeper, and so you have to be special in order to beat him. The fact that their number 10 isn't going to be there is a big look. I don't think they've been generating the chances that they should be generating from a team that sort of has already a history when their inaugural year in 2023 played very well in that year. It's about them matching that same energy and realizing that they have to go in there and do that again. So, but if we remember the start of the season with St. Louis, and they kept it up, but the start of the season for St. Louis was very fortuitous for them. They got bounces and passes to guys who were just like wide open. Like they got passes from the defense that literally put them in the box one-on-one like 3 times in the first 5-6 games. So maybe the gods are correcting things right now. Maybe the soccer gods are sort of like, oh, you were way over here. We had you way up higher. Now we gotta bring up the unlucky. So I think the Galaxy are meeting St. Louis at a good time. Talking to some people around the Galaxy, they feel like this is going to be a good test. I think they thought Nashville was probably going to be a pretty good test, and then they survived it. And so, now let's see what the LA Galaxy do. Again, Gabriel Peck's supposed to be back. The only person I know that's injured is Jalen Neal. I don't expect any other changes. I don't think Peck starts. People were asking about that. But I do expect him to play a significant role in this game. And if you're telling me, would you be surprised if Peck start? I would also not be surprised if he started. I just don't think it's this game. I think Fagundes still is going to do that. But Fagundes is going to eventually have to come off the bench. And so eventually that time is coming. And I believe sooner rather than later for me, seeing where everybody's at. Mark Delgado, go out and have game number 4 of a lifetime right now. I asked him if he was having fun. I was also had my. Did you see? Were you able to see my video whenever I was on the thing? I had my video on, and my son was playing with Legos in the back, and the whole.
And from the presser after Nashville.
Yeah. My son was playing because he wanted to be in the room, and like you just can't talk. So then
cute.
Mark Delgado, as he's coming up, I think Mark saw my son was like standing there. I was asked Mark if he was having fun, and the response to that told me all I needed to know, which is this team is having fun, and when you have fun, you play well. And so you can.
They're a different vibe this season. They're a totally different vibe. You can feel it, like in the presser, and everyone seems kind of tuned in, and it's a massive difference. And I think there's a lot of players there that really care. There's no apathy. There's no apathy.
No, it doesn't seem like it. Philip, by the way, says, who misses a PK this Saturday? That's a good call. Good shout. Who's the first LA Galaxy to make a penalty kick this year? That's what I want to know.
Who would you have as the penalty taker?
Fagundes, if he's out there, let Diego Fagundes take it. I would also say that Paintsel could take it. If Gaston Brugman is out there, Brugman could take it. I'd let Maya Yoshida take it in a heartbeat, or Martin Cáceres take it in a heartbeat.
So everyone basically, other than Ricky and Dan.
Yeah, that's basically
That's what you're saying.
Yes, that's right now. That's the way I feel. Yes, correct. Mickey Yamane, let him take it. I can have him take it. That type of thing. So
if Peck was starting, I
Would you let him
might
take
lean
it?
towards it.
I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know if I would.
No. Oh, so everyone else but not Peck.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Another person who chat room brought up, who I'm excited to see, Edwin Cerrillo, because he continues to do sort of stuff. He continues to play really well. Bob, by the way, $5 super chat, says, any word on Galaxy getting Taylor Swift for the halftime entertainment? I mean, I keep asking. I mean, I don't know how many times I have to beg and plead. I mean, I will give up my seat in the press box.
She's more likely to do Sporting Kansas game, isn't she?
I guess she can sort of do whatever. She shouldn't really tie. She's not going to tie herself to any Major League Soccer team. Let's be very clear.
This is Josh's dream, is to be at a home game eating pupusas while Taylor Swift does like some type of pre or halftime show. Can you imagine that?
Why does that sound dirty when you say it, though? I just want to. I'm pretty good with celebrities. We've talked about this many times, but I'm pretty good with celebrities. I will not be good. You would have to support me. You would have to be like, you stay here. Say yes.
You would lose it.
Yeah, I would.
Celebrity.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So anyway, that's what we got. D Ratings, by the way, comes in and tells us who is favored in this match, and the LA Galaxy are favored 52.6% to the St. Louis 23.8%. We always say that whenever this happens, that you should be worried. Projected goals, 1.75 for the Galaxy, 1.11 for St. Louis, 23.5% chance of a draw in this. LA Galaxy need to score first. The last time, Sophie, the LA Galaxy won at home was September 20th or so, and it was a 4-3 win over Minnesota. I wrote it down somewhere, but it's in the middle of September. That was the last time the LA Galaxy won a game at home. I think they played 3 other home games after that, and there were some draws and some losses in there. Well,
they should have won the Inter Miami game. Let's all be honest.
They should have.
Sorry.
Absolutely. But
did I say that out loud? Yes.
No, they didn't though, right? And it's like all those things, you look at it. So the Galaxy have a chance to extend their unbeaten streak, which is currently in there. But we don't like unbeaten streaks when they're full of draws. You like unbeaten streaks when they're full of wins, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, some draws can be mixed in with the wins.
Right. That's fine. But
even the Invincibles had 12 draws when they went invincible.
Right. So 2 wins, win 2. Then get a draw, win 3, then get a draw. Like those are the types that you want to mix those up. Yeah, 100%. By the way, is this the year that Greg Vanny wins 3 in a row with the LA Galaxy? He has not done it. Is this the year they win 3
Yes,
in a row?
I do think so. I'll put a bet on that right now.
Okay, good. But I don't want to bet against you. I also agree. Does it happen in the first half of the season?
Oh.
First 17 games, do the LA Galaxy get 3 wins in a row? Good.
Let's see the schedule. I don't bring the whole schedule out. But yes, I'm going to say first 17 games, they'll go on a 3-game win streak.
I love it.
I bet that's good odds. There'll be good odds on that.
How many games in a row this year will the top number of games in a row they win this year? Is it 3? Is it 4? Is it 5? What do you think this team right now at 3 games? Because it's stupid that we're playing this game, but yes.
I'm purely going on what I've seen so far, how I've seen the players in the pressers. Greg, I'm telling you, Greg's a different man this season. Mm-hmm. He totally is. I can see them going on like a 5-6 game winning streak.
Love it. I'd love to see it. Yeah. I wish I had my chart right now that I could pull up that would tell me. Let's see. I might actually have it.
Graph.
Hold on. I have it. I only have the unbeaten streaks right now. And last year they did go on a 7-game unbeaten streak, but again, too many draws in there to really be sort of like, oh, okay, this is great. But I'll have it out for the next one. All right,
we should get a little thing going with like Panda Hammer, Alex, the gang in chat and stuff. Stuff like that's fun.
We could do that for sure. And I think we should. So there we go. Cool. Lasso's Optimism $5 super chat just to get me to say "Go Lasso." Was that good? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I just feel
saying "Golazzo."
Golasso. Golasso. I don't know.
Go.
I love it. I love it.
So
Your prediction, please, Miss Sophie the Cannon Nicolaou, for the game
You know,
on Saturday.
I'm in my optimistic phase until otherwise. I'm going to say 3-1 to LA Galaxy. Yeah,
Right.
I'm going to say Paintsall scores, Dayan scores, and maybe like a header from a corner or something like that. I fancy 3-1. My friend works for St. Louis, actually, and they've got a good vibe going on over there. They're a really good organization. They've got some really good people. I'm hoping he's going to be at the game, so I get to see him too. But yeah, I fancy LA Galaxy 3-1.
I would really like to point out that everybody in the chat room is telling me to say it 3 different ways. I would just like to point out that
Was I wrong too?
Yeah, apparently. Well, I would just like to point out that you guys can't even agree on how to pronounce it, and you want
How
me
do
to
you
pronounce
say
it
it?
correctly.
Let's see.
So I sort of do it like with Ted Lasso, which is a golasso, right? That's like lasso.
Oh,
That's
it's an S.
yeah, it's an S. Yeah.
It's not. Why do they spell it with a Z then? Why is the channel called Golazzo?
Well, S and G's, I would imagine. S and G's. I don't know if you get that, but that's why they call it that way. I have no idea. So, anyway.
It's pronunciation. It's not necessarily how it's spelled. It's enunciation. Sorry.
Yes, that's how it works. So, all right, you said 3-1. I agree. 3-1. LA Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say, and I'm not going to change it just because you said it. So 3-1. We're both on the record as being wrong whenever that's certainly not. Could it be 3-2? Yeah, but I really feel like 3-1. There is a part of me that wants to say 2-0 and get the shout out and everything else. The shutout. I said
How
shout out,
good
shutout.
is John McCarthy, by the way? Hello.
Really like him. Really, really like him. He's making the big saves that he needs to make. And the goals, I asked him, I go, you guys gave up 2 goals and, really haven't given up a lot of goals this year. What he goes, individual mistakes. He goes, there's nothing we're doing as a team. It's just some individual things we need to get better at. Cool.
Yeah, he doesn't give away a lot, does he? I like it.
No, he
He's
is.
Mr. Mysterious.
He is. But he's also honest with that too. Like he's giving it to you, but he's not going to give you more than what you asked for.
Yeah.
Keeps you wanting more.
Totally.
John Cena in the chat room. I doubt it's the real John Cena, but John Cena in the chat room says it'll be 21-0. So I think I'm going to go under on that. I'll go under.
Is he dressed in chat?
I
Because
don't
he
know.
wasn't dressed at the weekend.
He
when
was
at
not.
the Oscars.
He was not. Absolutely. So anyway, that's what we got. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, just really looking forward to getting back to the game. I'm going to miss the first El Tráfico because I'll be in Europe that week. But looking forward to seeing everyone. And remember, whoever comes up trumps first to visit with us gets this little puppy.
There you go.
Speaking of El Tráfico. And that's all I've got. Thank you for having me, Josh. And by the way, the breaking news thing.
Top.
Love it.
I know. I was so excited about
Very
that.
top.
I forgot the LA intro, so I'm sure everybody would yell at me. That's fine.
It was an ace.
Tell people where they can find you, and we'll get on out of here.
Come visit me at Highbury Squad on YouTube. We're doing a bit of stateside squad stuff this year as well. Had John Hawkes on. Go and listen to that. US men's national team legend. Yeah, he's a rocking guy.
I like
Very
it.
cool.
I like
Yeah.
it. Very good.
Thanks,
Well,
Josh.
thank you, Sophie. If you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at Guesman at Galaxy Podcast. CornerTheGalaxy.com is where you can find all of our wonderful stuff there. Head on over to Corner of the Galaxy. We will see you out at the stadium on Saturday night. LA Galaxy getting ready to take on St. Louis, 7:30 p.m. That game free on MLS Season Pass. All games free this weekend on MLS Season Pass. All right? I think that about does it for everybody here on the show. For Miss Sophie DeCann and Nicolaou, I'm Josh Pato Guesman. You've been watching. You've been listening to our little Corner of the Galaxy. Have a great one, everybody.
You've been listening to the Corner of the Galaxy podcast on cornerofthegalaxy.com. You can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Galaxy Podcast. And be sure to check out and subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, and Facebook by searching for Corner of the Galaxy. Fans, we thank you for listening. We ask that you be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the podcast. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm Michael Araujo, and on behalf of the entire Corner of the Galaxy crew, goodbye, everybody.